In this video on geometric sequences or geometric progressions, I'm going to work through the exercise we see here, which is a typical introductory exercise. So let's get started. We're given the geometric sequence 4, 14, 49, and 171.5, and the first thing we have to do is to find the common ratio. Well, as I often do, let me start by writing SOL here, as in solution, and I'll just write little a because that's the first question we're answering. Now, to find the common ratio, which remember we usually call lowercase r, we can take any term of the sequence, except for the first term, and divide it by the previous term. So for instance, if I start with the second term, 14, I can state that the common ratio r is equal to 14 divided by 4. And you can check, but that leads to r equals to 3.5. And we now have this sequence's common ratio, which remember tells us how much we need to multiply each term by to get from one term to the next. And I should say, to calculate r here, I chose to divide the second term by the first term. But if I wanted to, I could have divided the third term by the second term, or even the fourth term by the third term. And in any of those two cases, I would have still found that r equals to 3.5. In other words, it doesn't matter which two terms we choose, it will always lead to the same result. That being said, I move on to question B. And in question B, we need to find the formula for the nth term of this sequence. Now, in a previous video, we had seen that every geometric sequence or geometric progression that's out there has a formula for its nth term given by u sub n equals to the first term, so u sub 1, times the common ratio r raised to the power of n minus 1. And so all we need to define the formula is the first term of the sequence, which we have here, that's 4, and the common ratio, which we found here, that was 3.5. So using those two results, we can state that the formula for the nth term, u sub n, is equal to 4 times 3.5 raised to the power of n minus 1. And we're done. That's the formula we needed to find. Finally, question C, we need to calculate the 10th term of the sequence. Well, for that, we use the formula for the nth term we just found, and to calculate the 10th term, we replace every single n inside this formula by 10. So that would be u sub 10 equals to 4 times 3.5 raised to the power of 10 minus 1. That's equal to 4 times 3.5 raised to the power of 9, and with my calculator and rounding to one decimal place, I find that the 10th term, u sub 10, is equal to 315,262.6. And that's the answer. And there we go. That's how to solve these typical introductory questions on geometric sequences. And that's it for this tutorial.